Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Skymetal Iron Gods, a D&D 5th edition campaign happening here every Tuesday night well, not every Tuesday night, occasional Tuesday nights, every other Tuesday night, uh, and when we can all gather together to play on a Tuesday night. But it happens on a Tuesday night, such as tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain. Tonight's episode is Chapter 1, Fires of Creation, Part 7. And we are going to continue with our adventure in just a few moments. A couple of quick announcements. First and foremost, if you take a look up above, oh, it's my head. You will see the what we have are some domain relics, which I actually owe us one. Let me just put that one right there. Domain relics are domain dice for this particular game. Domain dice is a way that you, the viewer, can have an influence on the game for a $5 tip, subscription, gift subscription, Ko-fi support, 500 bits, etc. You can purchase domain dice for us, the players. As I said, we call them domain relics in this game. You can, I keep forgetting to update this. One of these days I'll remember it. But basically you can use we can use a domain relic to reroll. There's advantage and a few other things that we can do with that. We'll get that straightened out here eventually. But they provide us most commonly with the ability to reroll a D20 roll. Upcoming games this Thursday. At the time of this recording right now, it is November 14th. 2 days from tonight is the Welcome to Paradise, Michigan Kids on Bikes Season 1 finale, episode 30. And we will, we'll have some, I will have some surprises for all the players in the audience involved, as I've been promising a twist for a few weeks now. We're very excited about this. If you're watching later on the VOD, by the time you're watching this, that VOD will also be available on youtube.com/Mini Terrain Domain, where all our VODs are available. And we have, in addition to our Kids on Bikes game that's wrapping up, we have on Monday nights Scribes and Scrolls, where you can find myself and M here, as well as Carrie, Ricky, and Gary. And those games are all over there. We've got this one. We've got all of our Mythos games, where at different times you find myself. You might find Kaeryn. You'll always find Kaeryn there, actually. You might find M there. As well as we had a couple games ago, Gary was there, but Alex, Carrie, Dwight, Ricky, all of us have been playing these Call of Cthulhu games for what, 4-5 years now? Something like that. It's wild. We usually play those monthly. In addition, I have finally been editing the last 32 episodes of Chult of Personality, our Tomb of Annihilation campaign, that it just got buried for a while. The last VODs, I found them all. I found all the title cards, and I'm finishing up the editing. And then the next couple weeks, those last 32 episodes will be posted on YouTube. So you can finally watch the campaign in its entirety. Em and I were actually just reminiscing a bit about that just last night, after the game. It was one of my all-time favorite campaigns. It was my first campaign to ever run, and my first time completing a campaign. So it holds a very special place in my heart. Let's see what else. This is a fantasy role-playing game. We are all adults playing this game. And we like to describe things sometimes in graphic detail. That means that you might hear some very descriptive language. You may hear some adult language. or other things that don't sit well with you. If that's the case, feel free to go somewhere else. We say that with kindness. We will not be offended. In fact, you can head over to youtube.com/mtd or mini terrain domain. Check out the games, other games that we have over there, tons of one-shots and other campaigns. Check out the charity game, Legends of Eleonora. That was PG-13. But also, you should know that we, as players, have safety tools in place. We understand one another's lines and veils. Nonetheless, we have the safety tools in place to keep each other safe at the gaming table. And we encourage you to do so at your own gaming tables. Before I turn things over to our game master, I do just want to remind you that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether you believe it or not, it is true. You may be struggling for any number of reasons. You should know first and foremost, it is okay to not be okay. Struggling is normal. But you do not have to struggle alone. We want to make sure that you, if you are struggling and you're looking for how do I get help, you start by typing !help in the chat. And a couple URLs will pop up. Findahelpline.com, or you can check out the growing list of resources at takethis.org. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I'm going to turn things over to Vi.
Hello, and thank you, Jake. You are the 7th expedition beneath the town of Torch, beneath Black Hill in a strange set of caves deep below the earth. Here you've encountered many obstacles, but after last session, you encountered perhaps the strangest of them all. You had entered a strange complex of Skymetal walls, smooth, polished, crafted by hands that are far more skilled than any blacksmith you know of. You came across these strange automatons made of this same Skymetal, which, though they seemed hostile, Daeralei used her strange magic to calm them, sedate them, and move past them unharmed. The party grew a bit suspicious of her, as this will not be a one-off occasion that happens with the rest of the obstacles. Continuing onwards out of this strange metal complex, you find a whole buried world out here below the town of Torch. A vast, sprawling desert with a dark dome for a sky. In it, the air is still, dust clings to everything. And you realize, as you're trekking along, following the path of the many expeditions that have preceded you, that you are being watched, as you notice a pair of glowing green eyes in the darkness beyond where you can see. You continued along this path, following in the footsteps, until you noticed the owner of these glowing green eyes, buried skeletons in the sand. These skeletons are strange humanoid. They don't resemble any creatures that you know here in Galarian. Instead, their skulls are strange and triangular. They possess 4 sets of arms. And they lurk in the sands, watching you. And again, Daeralei reached out with her telepathic mind to touch the mind of whoever is watching you. And you learned of this creature, a Kasatha named Hetowath, who has been trapped here in this buried world, trapped here both physically and spiritually, bound to this place, along with his former tribespeople, as undead. He warned you, "Be gone, come back the way you came." He threatened you with death. He threatened to set these skeletons upon you. But through conversation, through diplomacy, you learned to understand each other, despite being from literally different worlds. You learned that Hetwath has been trapped here, cursed to a state of undeath, forever because he and his people cannot see their sky. He told you of 2 other groups that have passed this way. The first and second both succeeded in killing him and his minions, only for them to reconstitute once more, as is their curse as undead. He told you that he wishes to end his curse, and you agreed to it, so long as he would let you pass through this domain. For if you did not agree, he would have no choice but to set himself upon you, to slay you. And so he asks of you to find some way to break his curse. He does not know how to do it, beyond a strong yearning to see his homeworld sky. He does not know much about this buried world, beyond doors and chambers that he cannot pass through, deeper into the complex in which you're heading. The false wall that you had just recently passed through, and a set of caverns that used to be his home, no longer his, for they are now the lair of a great terrible being, a monster, a predator, that has killed him time and time again, and he is now given a great distance. And that is where we had left off. You following his instructions, continuing along the trail, bypassing the false holographic wall, only to find more of this buried, strange Skymetal ruin beneath the earth. Here, in this chamber of entry, whatever devices or mechanisms or apparatuses were set up in this place have long since malfunctioned, sparking and blasting with electric power, which has been just recently disabled by Dannek and his expert crafty fingers and his strange-looking e-tool, his e-pick that is able to edit and modify and recircuit the electric devices found within this strange Skymetal complex. That is where we left off, having Dannek disabled this entry hazard to this place. You see at this far wall, closed off, like the many doors in this place, to the side of it, another one of those panels that your key cards seem to easily open at their mere presence. What do you do, the 4 of you, now that the way has been cleared by Dannek?
Once the sparking stops, Daeralei will enter into that new room. The panel across the way, like I know Dannek stopped the one that was right here. The panel across the way, is it also dark?
Yes, yeah, whatever Dannek did disabled the entirety of this room. The glowing lights in the panels on the ceiling has also dimmed, as if just, quote unquote, all power to this area has been shut off.
I would approach the other, like in the room so that others can come in, but I'm going to be like just kind of feeling the walls, this strange metal that lines everything. Is there a door on this side?
Yes, there's
side?
Yeah, this here is a door.
And I'm assuming it also has another panel just like the ones that we've seen. kind of look back at the others who seem potentially more, I guess, leery about coming into the room. And are we ready? And she's like pointing towards the door that is not open yet.
I am ready. As I come stand directly next to you, great axe at the ready. Or rather, no, not my great axe. That thing's rusty and broken. My club at the ready, in case anything jumps out at us.
I look to Dannek and Zaari.
I believe Zaari has the moon-touched longsword that she grabbed from a bit back in her hands, ready. And currently she's just trying, she doesn't trust all this undead nonsense. And so she's keeping to the back a bit just to kind of make sure nothing comes up behind them. And she just nods her head.
You're muted.
That I clicked. I did not. After Dannek shut everything off, he is going to just lean up against one of the walls, just keeping an eye on Daeralei in particular.
Seeing no indication that Dannek is wanting us to stop, just the suspicion in his eyes, if you will. Daeralei will just turn and then open up the next door with the key card.
You wave your little key card over the panel and it glows green and the panel's open. The door is open with this almost unseen energy, and you see the corridor ahead of you open up. It is like the rest of the corridors in this complex, lined with these Skymetal walls, panels blinking in the ceiling, providing a strange illumination to this place. At the end of this hallway, it bends right, as well as having another door at its end. Standing in this hallway is a gaunt, tall, humanoid figure. 4 arms, a strange, triangular cone-shaped head, skin taut tight to his body, yellowed, mummified, decayed, eyes glowing, that same green glow that you saw before in the darkness in the sands. This is Hetoath, and he stands expectantly, seeing the 4 of you. You see that his face is covered in a red cloak that he brings up with one of his 4 arms. He speaks aloud, in a language that none of you understand.
I reply back, what's it called, with my awakened mind. If I have to get closer, I'll get closer. So I'll kind of come in just a little bit, and I'll say, no, does he look like what? Well, I guess we couldn't really see him before, right? But he said that
You'd never seen him before, yes.
Yeah. So telepathically, I would say the Guardians. I have spoken to the Guardians in the room beyond. We are to help. We are coming through here and hopefully to find some information to help your kin in the room beyond. Not knowing that this is the same guy.
He speaks out again in a tongue you do not understand, before realizing that you do not understand him. And then he would reply with your telepathy that you have with your awakened mind. It is you.
Do I recognize the sound of the voice?
You, in your head?
Yeah. Does it
Yeah,
sound
this is the exact same voice as who
Okay.
you're speaking to in the sands when you're speaking to the skeletons.
Oh.
This seems to be the corpus of the disembodied voice that you were interacting with earlier.
I think my shock would actually say, "Oh, it was you I was talking to."
You understand our deal, yes?
I do.
And he gestures to the pair of swords that he wields with his inferior arms, as he brandishes them and then lowers them to his side, and with another hand outstretched, beckons you to the area beyond.
Down the corridor or through the door?
Down the corridor.
I would approach him, just kind of assuming that the others are following.
You can hear my heavy footsteps.
I don't
following.
think we really know what's going on.
Yeah, none of you actually
this-
are able to hear the telepathy going on between these two beings.
There's been a lot of telepathy, so yeah, it's very interesting. Dannek is
You'd see the gesture.
yeah.
If there's any hesitation, I think once Daeralei has gotten to, I can't pronounce her
Hetwath?
Yeah, to the guy.
Hetwath?
Hetwa. Once Daeralei's got there, if you notice is that the other two, you can feel Yrsimagor following, but if the other two have hesitated or whatever, then Daeralei would have turned back to see if they were coming and to let them know that this is the one that I spoke to earlier. I would tell them his name as well, so that they all know his name. Hetwa.
Seeing the group of you begin to kind of follow and close in, he'll turn his back to the group of you, his cape kind of twisting, as he'll walk down these corridors and continuing down. His footsteps are silent upon these Skymetal floors, which is very unlike how your footsteps are, all of you. You can't help but make even the slightest steps that cause the deepest of echoes and bangs and clangs and just the strange sound that walking upon metal makes. But he is silent.
I would follow.
Grim, is it not? Here, I will show you false Kathas. False Kasath. So he leads you down this corridor. You pass another set of doors until he takes you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, 1 second.
I think I would be asking him where the doors go.
This prison is large. There is a chamber beyond this one, as he gestures to this door that you're passing. It is barred. It is firm. It will not open.
What is beyond it?
I do not know. I will not know, for I am bound to this place.
Where are you leading us?
This is my home, he says telepathically, as his fourth hand produces a brown key card, just like yours, and swipes the panel next to this door. And you open up and see a massive room beyond this last set of doors.
I'm making
It
note
is
of the number
ahead.
of rooms that we pass, in case we have to come back, because the information that we seek is where he cannot get to.
He steps into this room and he gestures to the massive window that is on the western side of the wall here. Through this window, you can see all of this orangish brown desert that lies beyond. It is almost surgical. You almost feel like an observer, or even like a god, a warden, looking down from this great height. As if just some force beyond the world looking at it. This is false Kasath, he says as he gestures to the window. My home. A false home.
Is your true home also desert-like?
Kasath, yes.
I think at some point I would be starting to talk. As I'm thinking the thoughts telepathically, I'm also going to say my words out loud in my tongue so that those who are with me can at least hear my side of the conversation.
As the rest of you also glean this room, you see smearing the walls, painted in black, this oily black, drawings upon drawings upon drawings on every single Skymetal surface in this room. It is hieroglyphic, these drawings, crazed, schizophrenic. These drawings are nonsensical. You see imagery of violent things. You see imagery of insects that you've never seen before, death in 1,000 different ways. You see a great hungry void of a mouth. You see skulls that have been drawn, the same conical triangular skulls that these Kasatha have. There is words written upon these walls too, in a language that none of you understand. Anyone who's knowledgeable in religion, however, will see certain iconography that they can piece together. Anyone who's trained in religion can make a religion roll.
I am not trained, but I would reach out to touch the walls. Is it like wet, or is it?
It's dried. It's eons dry. Thousands of years dry.
Got a 17 on my religion roll.
You succeed. You recognize the obscure representations of an obscure deity marking these walls. A deity that you know to be Xiphus, the god of accidental death and tragedy. This iconography that is drawn seems to almost be created and drawn by someone who had never actually seen any proper unholy symbols of this god, but instead just like mark upon the like a primal aspect of this god.
I think looking upon all these hieroglyphs and things of that sort, Zaari's gaze would narrow before, in a very low rumble, she would say, Xiphus. What poor soul came here to do this without knowing a thing?
And say in my head, who drew these?
I did. They are my prayers, my pleas, my curses. That was eons ago, back when I was mad. I cannot get them free from the walls.
To whom were you praying and pleading?
Whispers I hear and heard. Shadow in sand. Poison in plant. The final father.
I would say the final father out loud to Zaari. In case it rings any bells to her.
It does not.
You answered my question before I asked. I think Zaari would kind of lift a brow in confusion when she looked at Daeralei.
That's what he calls it. Final father. And I would say there's other things, poison and...
Well, Xiphus isn't exactly a god of purity.
Turning back to Hetua, is this your god?
He is the one that cursed me, yes.
Cursed you? He's the one that put you in this place?
I called upon him to save my people. And this is what he does to us. As he displays with all his four arms, his gaunt, mummified skin. He'd even take the tip of his own short sword blade and kind of press it into where his ribs would be, and kind of slices down, only to reveal dusty, dried, mummified skin and flesh. No bone, no fluids. Sorry, no blood, no fluids. He definitely has bones. I misspoke.
Who built this place? Did your people build this place?
No. Our people only remember Kasath. But this is false Kasath.
Forgive me my ignorance. I'm trying to understand. Were you already here when you prayed to your final father?
Yes. We were in Kasath.
You were in
false
Kasath. You
We
were
were
already in false Kasath and doomed.
Did not know it at the time. The sky went dark. As the land shook. Many died from rocks and falling debris. No longer did we have food. We are used to beasts migrating through and from this region. The beasts no longer came. We grew hungry. I, their chief, went out to find food. I found only metal. I found the falsehood. They had hidden walls. Places Our people found taboo. I crossed those taboo lines. Perhaps that is how I cursed us. I found what I thought was food. I gave it to my people. It was poison, and we died. And in our death, they died. I did not. I lived through the poison. I held my brothers and sisters. Cold, dead bodies. I cursed Kalsfas. I cursed false Kasath. I wanted to save my people. And the final father turned us to this. And I thought it was a miracle. How I hate him so. For I wish to be dead like them. Wished not to see my kinsmen's bodies pulled along by unseen winds. I wish to die.
I will try to relay as much of that as possible to the others. But basically, they were here first. Something happened. They were starving. Called out to Cathasis, to the final father, who then made him this undead thing. If I'm getting the story right.
Oops.
And there are other false walls that you found?
We knew of 2 false walls. One in which you have just passed to get through here. The other on the far side, the false wall, vanished. Perhaps 2,000 years ago.
The one where the creature went through? Or is? You mentioned a monster on the other side of
The place in which you came. You and the
Oh.
others before.
That was your other false wall.
Yes.
And this monster that keeps you from...
Our home to the north.
Yeah.
It has taken our home, our things. Taken my home from me.
But
I
that is
bear it
not-
no ill will, for it is just a monster. Just a beast.
That is not through a false wall. That is...
No. It was the people. It was the place in which my people slept, lived, laughed, danced. Thousands of years ago.
So after relaying kind of what I've just learned from this man, I would relay it to the other party members and ask them if there's anything they would like to learn.
I have a question for the game master. In all of our traversal through this area, and thinking in particularly with some of these schizophrenic drawings on the walls, and even in some of what's been relayed, is there anything that sounds familiar to me? Or is this all different than thinking of my backstory elements?
This is entirely unconnected to the things that you've done before you begin this adventure.
Just wanted to be sure.
Mhm, mhm.
The only thing I want to know is if we are supposed to kill some beast, why are we standing in these metal walls?
So are you asking that to Hetwath or to your
No,
party?
I'm asking that to Daeralei mostly, who's been
Oh,
having a weird
sorry,
conversation.
I was muted and you didn't hear that. I'm sorry. I said knowledge. We must learn of this thing that we will fight. We must learn of where we are.
And are there any like depictions of whatever this monster is in the hieroglyphs? I don't remember catching anything about that when you were describing.
This beast is not in this hieroglyphs. No.
Okay. I think Zaari would kind of pipe up and ask, if this beast is so terrible, why is it not here?
I would translate I say translate, but I would think that thought too.
I would thought the things.
Yeah, I think all the thoughts.
And you're referring to here as in upon the walls, the
Yes.
drawings, right?
Yes.
It is but a simple mindless beast. I harbor no ill will towards it. Its flesh is dinner, back when my stomach yearned. And now it appears my flesh is its dinner. Yet it cannot bite through me. It cannot eat me, for I have no moisture left within me.
At that point, I would ask more details of what this monster creature looks like what it is.
It is a hidden thing that lurks within the rocks and below the sands. And this, as he's describing it, reminds you exactly of the tentacled monster that you saw at the entrance. That you not only just saw, that almost
Almost ended us.
killed you. Yeah, that lurked in the sands in the entryway to this place. A galarn is what he calls it.
Well, at least now we have a name for it. I would let all of them know that what he's describing, so that they're getting this realization as soon as I basically do, like moments behind.
Now you have asked many questions. It is my turn. What is beyond false Kasath?
From where we
Where
came.
did you come from?
I turn to the others before I answer, before I think back. And it wants to know where we came from in the world beyond. I see no reason to not tell him. How about you?
I think Zaari would look at Yrsimagor, and there is a lot of skepticism in her gaze when she looks at him. Like, should we be telling this thing this?
Do you think it, any others like it, may pose any kind of threat?
Nothing more than to die for real.
Does it ask just out of curiosity?
Can I make an insight check about that?
You may.
When he asks. That'll be an 18.
You get the sense that if this thing wished you death, it would have done so long ago. It is, you can see by his stance, by the way he dressed himself, that he's a formidable warrior. He has always appeared to be direct to the point, both in his intentions, or at least proclamation of threat and murder, but also here in his offering of peace. Between that and his apparent grief and almost like loneliness in this place and a longing for the sky, you imagine this is to sate some kind of curiosity rather than any ill intent.
Yes, I believe it's curiosity that's fueling this. As he has been here for thousands of years alone, undying, unable to die or live.
See no reason not to tell him of our lands and where we come from, but, don't give him our address.
Well, he said
Thank-
Christmas cards.
I think Dannek looks uneasy. But why would it want to know? What does it care? It is down here, stuck.
I have to agree with Dannek.
Neither of you wonder what's beyond the darkness of our own skies?
Not unless I have a reason to.
More concerned with
Try
what's
not to
behind
concern
that
myself
door.
with idle thought.
I'm more concerned
That's
with beyond that door than I am with what's in the sky above.
So that's where we differ. I live below, and I have always wondered what was above. So I came above. But I'd ask questions. What are you... What are you comfortable with me sharing?
Whatever it takes to get us moving.
Yeah, Dannek nods at that, and no more.
So I turned back to... I lost the name. Huate?
It's west.
Hetuath. Oh, I'm so terrible. Hetuath. Beyond your walls that you are chained in here is our world, another world. You are below ground in our world.
You have a sky. Tell me, is it beautiful?
And at this, Daeralei will actually probably hesitate because the sky is not something that they've been familiar with for a long time.
We've chosen the
find-
wrong spokesperson.
Yeah, I find the sky intimidating. It makes me uneasy. But I have lived my entire life below ground. But is it beautiful? Some would say so.
Kaseth and false Kassath had a great big red sun. The skies were orange. Clouds. The way the clouds would swirl.
The sky.
That sky
here.
would appear here, as he points to the darkness of the dome that stretches over the desert. For days and nights, we had a sky. A sky no more. A second question then. The people that came before you, do you know them? Your kind.
Not most. I know of one man. It's why I'm here, actually. I want to find him. Or what
Is
may
this
be left
him?
of him.
Hetwath moves, striding to where the table is, and reaches down, kneeling, and will drag a corpse from under this metal table.
Dear God.
A corpse that has been stabbed, eviscerated, as well as like having these deep lacerations throughout his body. He's face down, and the blood is dry as Hetwath pulls the body out from this table. I slew this man. Is he yours?
How long has this body been dead, approximately?
You can make a medicine check.
10.
10. Ugh. I mean, it's been dead a while. Not dead recently.
The clothing. Do I recognize the clothing immediately, or is it again a generic kind of thing? Because I'm imagining that Conir would have wore specific attire.
Yeah, this is. You look at the clothing, specifically the armor that this man wears. He's wearing half plate, though parts of it has been rent and sliced through. You know that Conir is not a man capable of or trained in the wearing of half plate. This is not Conir Bane.
It is not the one I look at. Look, it is not the one I am looking for. But maybe he was with him. And I will approach the body and turn it over so I can see the face.
You see a half-elven man with short black hair and small pointed ears. He wears half-plate armor and clutched still with a rigor mortis grip is a very exquisite-looking longsword. As you're looking over this person, Hetwath would say to you, he fled to this place from beyond those impassable walls. I slew him, for he was intruding upon this place. You, as you look at this face, since you are a Torch local, who's the Torch local? That is Dannek, right?
I was gonna say, is Dannek the Torch local?
Yeah.
Dannek, you would recognize this face of this man. This is his name is Arsul, and he is a very competent mercenary warrior within the town of Torch, and close friend of Conir Bane. And when you would imagine would probably be on his expedition team.
Did Yeah, Dannek will look at this corpse. Did Daeralei, did they say that this isn't who they're looking for out loud?
Yeah, I'm trying to say everything that I'm thinking to Hetuath out loud so that you guys at least hear my side of the conversation.
Yeah, Dannek, I think now would walk up beside Daeralei and I know him. Well, knew of him. He was a close friend of sorry, what was the name again?
Conir, Councilman Conir.
Conir, yeah. He was a close friend of Conir, and I think that he probably would have been on his adventuring party.
This is not the man I'm looking for, but he was probably with the man that I was looking for.
He came from the impossible walls. Through
When you
with means I do not know. Perhaps your man is beyond there too.
When you say from the impossible walls, like the doors we passed.
Yes.
And that was the first time you've seen them.
No. This man slew me with that sharp sword of his. Seeing him bloodied, clutching upon his gut, stumbling through these metal corridors, I sought my justice, my revenge. How little it stirs my heart now to slay the one who slew me.
He was already wounded
Yes.
when he came here. The second time.
Came to and came fro.
So I turned to the others. I would say, I guess, I'd let them know that he came through. It was at the first doors, like the ones that the closest to this room. The impossible walls?
No. He said they're beyond there. So somewhere on the other side of these doors is.
That's what I
the
mean. Like
doors
he came through those doors when he was hurt.
No, Hetuath will correct. Like he slew them else. He slew him elsewhere in this complex beyond those doors.
Oh.
These doors he can get through. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I missed that.
The impassable walls are further down this complex. He says to you.
So I'd let them know that. I mean, I don't know much more than that, but that Conir, at least in his group, had made it much further down that corridor. But they ran into some trouble at some point, and this man came back and was already hurt.
This would be the second member of Conir's expedition that you've now encountered. The first one that you encountered was way back in the caves, who was covered in the mold, the cold mold, back in that earlier chamber. And here appears to be the second one. So it appears that at least some of them tried to make it back to Torch, but none of them made it back alive.
One last question about this room, like this table that we see. Is there any like runes or panels or anything on it or is it just a gray slate table?
It is a gray slate table, and you get the impression that whatever belongings used to be here have long been destroyed, shattered, disturbed by Hetuath probably himself. You can even see the remains of objects, little knickknacks that have been, you can recreate it in your mind, picked up and thrown against walls, smashed, crushed, in fits of anger or rage or madness. This place is in a very vandalized state, though strangely calm and peaceful. Seeing this vandalism happened probably, multiple thousands of years ago.
So I think at this, Daeralei has pretty much decided that we've got all that we're going to get from this area. Basically, we'll say we're going to go to further into this complex to find the answers we're seeking, and hopefully in time, why you are stuck here and how we can help you.
Very well. I stand here, as I always have, watching over my kinsmen to protect them, even now beyond death. I await the moment it ends. As he gives you a farewell
I will
in
bring.
a very odd way.
I would try to mimic it as much as possible with my two hands. And then I will turn to go with the others.
I feel like at the very least, Yrsimagor and Dannek are leaning against the wall, just waiting for some kind of action. And when you turn to leave, we both kind of have that finally and kind of push off the wall. It's
the kickoff of all right.
Okay, now are you done? When somebody says, I'm going to be just a minute, when somebody calls and they're 15 minutes later, they're still on the phone.
It is like when your parents were leaving and you were younger and the parents were like, oh, I'll just be a few more minutes, and they're talking to some other adult and you're just but Dannek, I think, is going to go beside Daeralei as we're leaving.
Before does anybody want the weapon?
Oh yeah, because there is a pretty sweet sword.
It was a longsword, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have one already, so if you want to grab that one, you can.
I think what I will do is I will take the longsword, but I will place my rusted great axe back in the fallen warrior's hands so that he's not left dead and unarmed. So I will take whatever that sword is, if nobody else wants it.
You pick up this sword, and your character Gideon, the previous character, he was apprenticed to a renowned blacksmith here in Torch. What was that blacksmith's name? You can come up with this blacksmith's name.
Oh no. A name.
Who was this blacksmith that Gideon was apprenticed to?
Can you give me 1 second? I'm so bad with names.
You can ask a role player to come up with just about anything on the spot except for names.
My brain goes just blank. There's the dial-up noise that happens.
I just keep hearing the name ever since you said it. That Conir Bane is just one of the coolest names to me. It's a simple name, but it has a very Corbin Dallas or I'm trying to blank on it now. Kaiser Soze. It has a great sound to it. It feels very like it could fit in fantasy, sci-fi, modern. It's just a great name.
Okay, the blacksmith's Thank you for.
I was
thank you, Jake,
vamping for you.
Yeah, thank you.
What I should have done is what
Riker.
Carrie does. While
Yeah.
M's thinking of a name, check out MTT's merch. Where's Carrie when we need her?
Riker was the name.
Riker. So, Yrsimagor, you pick up this blade, and you can see immediately the craftsmanship, the expertise that has been put into this blade. One, because of just the shape, the balance of the sword, but two, the material it's made of. It is not made of iron, nor steel, nor bronze, nor any earthly metal. This, you can tell by the hue, by the strange composure of the metal, is made out of Skymetal itself. Skymetal can only be forged in one place in the entire world, and that is, or at least was, the town of Torch. Emblazoned on the handle, carved into this Skymetal handle, is the name Riker, Gideon's mentor. This is a +1 Skymetal longsword. As a Skymetal longsword, so as a Skymetal weapon, its blade is impossibly sharp and impossibly hard, like firm, durable. As such, it deals 1d4 bonus damage with attacks made using it, as it cuts through both flesh and armor much better than any other kind of weapon, and also has the proper weight to get those massive blows. So it has the normal properties of a longsword, but it's also been enchanted with +1 and has that Skymetal property of bonus 1d4 damage of whatever type it is. So it'll be slashing because it's a longsword.
Slashing for a longsword. So do I know Skymetal is something that we know about then as a rare...
Skymetal itself has been a cultural pillar of this region, both because of its superstition around it, and also the fact that Torch makes its entire economy on forging and smelting and crafting and smithing using Skymetals.
Then seeing and recognizing it for what it is, I definitely I would imagine in my large orc hands a longsword almost looking a little smaller, but nonetheless holding it with a sort of reverence before sheathing it, and in the back of my mind just thinking in the same way this can cut through armor, it can cut through those constructs, those robots. And that makes me smile.
Also on this corpse's body, you would see that there is he's wearing half plate, and has a little bandolier of potions across his chest, 3 of which have been already drunk already, but the 4th one is a larger green fluid, as well as he has a bag that is bigger on the inside than the outside, tied around a loop in his belt. Within it is, we thought would be a mere coin purse, but in fact is, you could probably stick your whole arm into this extra dimensional space.
I will hand, as I'm taking the sword and kind of rummaging through the rest of the stuff, I'll hold the potion. You said it was just the one green potion, or were there more?
There's 3 ones that have a little tiny bit of stuff left in them that are basically emptied. So they're just empty vials. And then the one other one that is shaped in a different vial, probably because whoever had this bandolier set up didn't want to confuse the two.
I'll take the potion out and just hold it behind me as I'm continuing, waiting for somebody to take it. And then seeing the bag, Taking a look inside, realizing that it's bigger on the inside, I will toss the bag to Dannek. This feels like a Dannek thing.
Yeah, Dannek instantly catches it, looks inside, nods.
I just feel like Dannek's like, noise.
Yeah.
Yoink. I will take the potion as Yrsimagor is holding it out. Do I have any idea what it might be from the liquid it is?
You this will be just like a little time. I'll take a little bit of time to figure it out. This would be a potion of hill giant strength. Drink it, and for the duration, your strength score becomes 21.
All right, we will keep that potion.
And Dannek, the bag that has been tossed to you is a bag of holding. And inside, perhaps catches your eye better than it catched Yrsimagor's eyes, are 22 gold pieces, 13 silver discs, and a strange like tablet of Skymetal and glass that appears black and dull and lifeless.
I'm gonna pull that out.
Mm-hmm.
The tablet. He's gonna have a closer look at it.
Yeah, it looks like this like sheet of Skymetal, but inlaid into its one face is like this window made of like black glass. It appears lifeless, and you see that there's actually like a series of like buttons along two of the edges, as well as you look at the back. There's actually a little compartment in the back that if you pry it open with a knife, you'd see 2 more silver discs plugged into part of the apparatus. You can kind of like squeeze these silver discs out with a finger and your knife if you want, and you can get two more silver discs scavenged from it, or you can leave them inside because maybe they belong.
No, I think he's gonna. Yeah, I think he's gonna leave them in there. That seems very odd. Yeah.
But otherwise, it appears to be dormant, whatever this thing is. You can look at the make. It matches the make of this complex that you're in. You imagine it probably was scavenged and looted from this place by this person, by Arsul.
Mm-hmm. Just gonna tuck it away for now. I'll have a better look at it later, but not now, not especially not in the view of this thing that he doesn't trust.
The last thing that you notice, Yrsimagor, clutched in the other hand, the non-sword wielding hand, is another larger disc card, similar to one that Daeralei keeps using. This one has a band of black taped over, kind of like striped over its one face, or the other one has a facing of brown.
I'll take the card and I'll start to hand it to Daeralei, who's been sort of the keeper of the cards. And then I'll kind of look over at Zaari and be like, wait, I'm sorry. You didn't... We all got something, but you didn't. Do you want this card?
I think Zaari would be kind of surprised that you're just like, hey, we all got something and you haven't yet. Do you really want this? And she would look at this card and be like, no, you can give that to Daeralei. It's fine.
I just don't want you to feel bad.
I won't. I promise.
I'll shrug and hand it to Daeralei.
Thank you for thinking of me.
Upon producing that from the body, Hetwath will actually look down at his own brown striped access card and he'll say telepathically to you, Daeralei, because you have the awakened mind. Perhaps that's how this one was able to bypass those doors. His can do one that mine cannot, this talisman. As he places it back up around his neck where he keeps it.
Yes, I believe so. Now that I've seen his, does the one that he has around his neck, does it look like the ones that we've been using so far?
Yeah, it is. However, it has like a puncture mark through it, where like a tendon has been wrapped through it to make it into an amulet, a necklace.
Interesting. So I guess Daeralei would kind of look at it before putting it with the other ones, and then turning to look at the rest. If they look like they're ready, they'll start going down the corridor.
Very well. This door, you see, is closed and has the similar panel that all these doors seem to have.
Just to, I guess, leaving my own curiosity, I'm going to try one of our brown discs first to see if it opens.
The brown one works, and the doors open up, and you see hallways that stretch to either side, both left and right, of this door that end in cave-ins. Though the southern one actually goes for a very long time. So far that, take a lot of exploration. But the right-hand one, the northern one, has a door that continues on through. Continues beyond. This door, like the other ones that you found, has a panel on its right-hand side on the wall, though it has a great black stripe inset into part of the panel that stretches its entire length, as well as this, in white, this script that writes along that black stripe from top down.
I would be remiss if I did not say, sorry, this is me, the player, being the video game side of me really wants to know what's behind that other door that we left behind us. The character of me, I believe, has canonically stated that he doesn't like leaving unknown doors behind us. I think that was in this game. He said that, or it was Yrsimagor himself that said that. So I guess I'll parlay that into. Do you think this will move or open that other door? Just so we know what's behind us before we delve deeper.
We have.
It wouldn't hurt to take a peek.
We have 4 discs, so I think Daeralei has no problem handing one of the brown striped discs to Yrsimagor to go check to see if it'll open that other door down there.
I will take a look at it and try it.
Yeah, you see the panel upon the right-hand side of this door. It has a white stripe going down. It's kind of part of the panel with a black script writing down up along it. You can use your brown card if you'd like to try to mimic what Daeralei does to this panel to try to open this door.
Yeah, it's exactly what I would do, is think about how does Daeralei hold the thing, and zip, zip, tap, put the chip in, swipe it, whatever.
A small pinpoint red light flares to life on this panel, as well as a little bzz sound, a little buzzer. But otherwise the door does not open. Then a strange, distorted voice, speaking a language that none of you understand, which means nothing to the both of you.
I will look at the red light and look at wherever the voice came from, and in Orcish say the Orcish equivalent of well, F you, and hand the disc to Daeralei. Looking back down the hall as I'm walking back, just look at Dannek and Zaari and just shrug. Didn't work.
Before you go, I think if I don't understand what you said, but I can maybe get the tone of it. And I think...
well, I mean, in addition to saying it, of course, it would have gotten one of these. So you know exactly what I said.
So I think before you turn to go, Daeralei would actually hand you the one with the black stripe. Say, try this. Let's try this one. Seeing that there's a stripe on this one, I don't know.
Yrsimagor heaves a great sigh. Whatever these are, the properties of them, though physically they're much different, they have echoes of robots. So I'm not terribly happy with it, but I will try it.
You get the same exact response from the panel. A glowing red light, a little buzzer sound, and again, a disembodied, distorted voice coming from the panel itself. That almost seems to mock you in how flat-toned and neutral it sounds.
So you said this panel had a white stripe.
Yes.
With black lettering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the door that we kind of saw through the north before Yrsimagor wanted to go here.
There's a black
was
stripe door.
Black stripe.
Black
with
stripe
white
panel.
writing.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And we have the black stripe card and a brown stripe card.
Yeah. So yeah. So Daeralei would just kind of shrug with you and finger it to, just solidarity. Before turning to go back with you.
Amazing? Sorry. All right. Well, it was worth a try. And that does make me want to know what's behind that door even more.
We'll find a white striped disc at some point.
Every time you say that, I hear the opening drums of Seven Nation Army. All right. So we're going to this door up here.
Mhm.
Forward.
Do you keep the card? In which case...
Oh no,
we'll
I
follow
would give you the card back.
Okay.
As you go up this hallway to the next door, you see signs of struggle, signs of violence upon the walls. Handprints of blood, droplets and pools, and then, of course, a bloody streak upon the ground. All originating from here and going here before it kind of fades and dries out. This perhaps leads credence to Hetoeth's story about the man, Arsul, who emerged from this place, from this door. You come upon this door with its black striped panel. And I imagine you try to open with the black striped card.
Yeah, but with now hearing about the blood and the fact that this is where our friend's friend came from, I'm a little bit more concerned and theory, and I would look to the others to make sure that we are all ready before doing such a thing.
I am standing next to you in front of the door with that shiny new sword at the ready in my best Conan pose.
Dannek is standing behind Yrsimagor, very far behind Yrsimagor.
I believe Zaari is staying with Dannek. Just like protecting Dannek. Like he's precious.
Dannek is precious.
He is a precious boy. I love him.
when everybody is ready, I will do that thing with the card.
Swipe the key card with the black stripe upon the black stripe panel, and the doors open up and they emerge, and you see a great stretch of complex before you. And with that, we'll go ahead and go to break as I set up the next map for all of you.
All right. We're going to go ahead and take about a 10-minute break, and we will see you on the other side. Stick around. And we're back.
Welcome back, everyone. And you see before you an ominous, auraed place. The corridor stretches before you. You see the panels of lights flickering, buzzing, flickering on and on and off. The walls are stained with bloody handprints. Something murderous originates this way, as all these blood trails and smears and foreboding aura is coming from this way. Handprints that streak along from ahead of you to behind you. Doors, firm, closed, end this hallway, pronounced by those flickering lights in the ceiling above you.
So this doorway, I'm assuming, is closed, and there's a panel on it.
Yeah.
Does it have the black stripe as well?
Nope, it's brown striped.
The brown stripe. Okay, cool.
Sorry, not brown striped. No striped. Does not have a stripe.
No stripe. It's just plain, like the discs we had.
Yep.
Or the doors we had been seeing up until this
Yes.
point. Yeah.
Yep.
And the blood trail goes through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, blood smears this wall as if someone with a bloodied hand was trying to prop up against it, crawling along this way, escaping from whatever's on this side of the door.
Well, at least it'll be easy to see where he came from.
I will be standing at the ready. Basically, that's going to be my standard protocol is when you open doors, I will be standing at the ready.
Yeah, and Daeralei will always look to you first before swiping to make sure, like, we're, get the nod. Swipe, we'll go.
Maybe like Carrie and have like 6 different swords and bats and stuff around me that I can pull out.
You swipe the door and opens up into this somewhat irregular shaped, circular-ish room. The panels above you flicker and buzz, this dark and eerie ambience. There is a large metal desk with these glowing lights emanating from these tablets and strange panels on top of the desk itself that illuminate that back section of the room in a strange, cold blue glow. There are these tall pillars that support this room, as well as 2 black couches upon this southern wall. There's splatters of dried blood here in the north that seems to paint the floors going underneath these doors. And all along the southern wall is this strange rust-colored mold that clings to the walls and some to the floors, as well as everyone may roll me a perception roll, please.
$15.
11.
10. I'm apparently not looking.
I also have a 10.
This room smells of blood and of mold, but Dannek, you catch whiffs of alcohol coming from this room. You may make for me a nature roll for me, please.
Like, okay. Wow, 7.
You do not know why this would be. You just smell like spirits, like booze,
Okay.
hard
Like-
liquor.
Yeah, it's like hard liquor and not like
Antiseptic alcohol.
antiseptic.
Yeah, no, not antiseptic, just like drinking alcohol. As well as you see, all of you would see, so doors here, set of doors here, where the bloodstains are, doors here on the opposite side of the room as you, and a smaller door set inside behind the glowing blue desk.
I'm going to step into the room a few feet just to make sure that I can see everything. I'll walk out to here. These steps?
Mhm. Yeah, there are steps that go up
Yep.
to this kind of a raised section of the
And
of the room.
I've got my eye more on the door that has all the blood in front of it to the north.
I follow a few feet behind, and I am probably more. Not that I'm more concerned about the other doors, because blood is concerning, but I am more. I think my eyes have been drawn towards the glowing light by the chair and that door over there. So I'm stepping that way.
You can move yourself there to investigate it.
Up to here. I'm not getting closer at this point.
How about Dannek and Zaari?
Dannek is staying far away from that blood.
Stay
No,
away from the
he's
rust
gonna-
too.
Oh.
I think with the opposite, like Zaari won't be afraid to get near the blood. She wants to. You said like the rust-colored mold is like the
All those red
beautiful
little squiggles.
The squiggles.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think she's gonna stay away from that. Like, no thanks. So I think when she steps in, she's gonna basically, like, they're gonna be her and Dannek are gonna kind of be side by side.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's not afraid to like get near the bloody door. She'd rather not be near the mold.
Yeah, Dannek's the opposite, so yeah, we're just going up behind the other two.
What is that large circular thing with the fins on it in the
That
southeast corner?
is a large metal table.
Oh, it's a table?
Is a table with the chairs have been like knocked over all around it.
All right, I'm sticking close to Daeralei, just because don't need you wandering around and getting yourself killed.
I think Daeralei is kind of looking to Yrsimagor, kind of making sure that they're there with them. And I'd like to go around behind that desk and chair to that little door.
You see from here, the door has on its panel a black vertical stripe inset with that white script.
I will take out the black striped key card
Mhm.
and see if it opens it.
Here, awash with that blue light emanating from the desk, you swipe the key card, and the door slides open. And inside, you see a storage closet filled with these strange, like almost like perfectly shaped white chests, not made of wood nor stone, set upon the shelves of this small little closet. They are kind of like vertical cabinets on the far side of the wall. one of these chests, the farthest from you over here, has a white stripe going all the way across the chest and down its front.
What about the other two?
The other two are unlabeled.
Does it look like either of them have like a way to open it, or does it look like there's a panel that you have to?
Yeah, all three of them seem to like be shaped like a chest would be, in that like there's like a little seam and you like lift up the lid, like a trunk.
I'll go to the first one on the right and see if I can open it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it opens just with a little lift. It's way lighter than it looks. This lid. You find these strange pieces of junk that you can make heads or tail of. But inside this one, you're able to find things that you do recognize. That being batteries that you've discovered before. 3 of them, 3 batteries.
Ooh, I will pass those to Yrsimagor because I know he's got a thing that will use them.
I will pocket one of the batteries and I will hold up the other 2. I'll just toss them to Dannek because Dannek, I think you need batteries for your e-pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dannek will take those.
Which, FYI, there are energy cells in the inventory manager that I've been using to track charges. There are 10 charges per battery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once that one is emptied, I guess, of the stuff that looks like it's useful, I would go to the other one that looks like I could open it.
Mm-hmm. You open it up, and again, strange junk that you do not make any heads or tail of, with exception of, as you rummage through, a total of 26 silver discs, and a strange apparatus that seems to be way more functional than the others. It is shaped like a telescope is, but as you grab it, you accidentally press down on one of the buttons, and a great stream of light erupts from the lens of this telescope that you can point and move directionally.
Ooh, I think I'll probably have some fun shining it around.
Be careful. I don't want to get cut by, I don't want to get cut by that light.
I will try to hit the same button that I accidentally hit before. Does the light go away?
Yep, it vanishes. It clicks off.
I'll hit it again just to make sure I can turn it back on.
Mm-hmm. It turns back on, shining a
Okay.
bright light. Are you like looking down at the lens itself, like as you turn it on?
No.
Or are you like turning at the wall?
I would shine it when it's off. I would look at it.
Yeah. And
Yeah, no.
the top of it is like seems to be made of that like dark glass, the same thing that Dannek would have seen on that little face of the tablet-shaped device. But from that lens springs out this like pure white light, even whiter than the sun.
Does it look like it has a slot that would hold the batteries that we've been finding?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it does. So it uses the same kind of battery?
Yeah, you could pop open a little part of it and see that there's one battery shoved inside it.
Okay, and I've used it twice now then.
Mm-hmm.
1 to 2. So with that I won't I won't turn it on or off again, but I would take it out. I'm going to give it to Zaari if she wants it. Or Yrsimagor doesn't. I've got no need for it at this
If
point.
I'm holding that electric torch thing, I can't hold my sword.
Exactly.
I think that if you gave it to Zaari, she would probably like try to find a way to like somehow put it on herself, so she just has to press the button. Like maybe Daeralei, showed her how to use it. So she would try to like maybe like some leather straps and
Yeah,
just kind of
strap.
like tie it to her so that way she could just be like me.
Perfect. Okay, so yeah, so you have that telescopy
And it's
lighted
been
device.
2 charges already on the
Yeah.
battery.
No, so this it only uses up a charge every hour of use.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying,
So the little, the
otherwise,
two
that would be a
little
really
quick.
crappy battery. A really crappy flashlight.
That would
Yeah,
be
so
a
the
pretty
little
flashlight.
on off doesn't count for charge. It needs to be like on for like for
Okay.
every hour of use, use up one charge.
But we don't know that.
No,
I
but
just know that. Um, the 26 silver discs, though, those like they don't look like they belonged in this thing at all, right? They just
so the astute of you would realize that silver discs are batteries. They actually appear one and the same, though the function of silver discs, as like everyone in this land knows what silver discs kind of are, as in like they're these little trinkets found in these older ruins, and they're approximately worth about 1 gold piece each, as a kind of a trade item. Specifically, they are drained batteries. Batteries that no longer have any charge left in them are used as currency, as silver discs.
Interesting.
oh, okay. Okay, cool. So basically we have 26 gold.
Dead cells.
Dead cells.
Okay, I'm putting that down.
Also, maybe as we continue our way deeper into this place, not telling you how to do your job, but maybe we shouldn't just automatically open every door and chest we find without looking at them first.
Did look at them, they had no markings. Not like that one, which has a white stripe.
I don't mean look at it to see what it looks like. I mean, look at it to make sure when you open it, it's not going to explode in your face. Or burst a vial of acid, or be one of those creatures that looks like a chest. And then you open the chest and it's full of teeth.
I'll let you open the chest from now on.
I was gonna say, Dannek, I think,
Dannek?
is walking up at this point, and Dannek is just like, you really believe in those fairy tales, Yrsimagor? Really? A chest with teeth?
I'm not saying that I've seen one, but I know a guy.
I too have heard of these chests with teeth.
Dannek looks very doubtful.
I
was also read
chest.
this story
I
as a
had
child.
I had a pet chest once. It had teeth. And I think at that Daeralei would be looking at Dannek and kind of give her a little wink.
Yeah. I've quite enjoyed seeing you just open every chest and door. You've been lucky so far.
Luck will only get us so far.
Fine. And with that, Daeralei will come out of that room, not open the door that Yrsimagor is standing by, and go to the one that is by the blood spattered, because that's probably where
Could
our friend went.
Zaari kind of like, she's looking at this desk and then she glances at Dannek and she says, should we look in here to see if there's anything?
Yeah, Dannek nods. Oh, I don't think we'll be coming back here anytime soon.
I think Zaari would help Dannek look.
I put my hand over it and no chest icon appeared, so...
It didn't say press A.
Nope.
Click to search.
You take a glance at the desk, and you see that that's a similar tablet to the one that Dannek has in his bag, perched on a little stand on the desk itself. It is buzzing with life, this blue energy, this blue light emanating from its glass face. On its screen are images that are appearing in flashes between bouts of static and noise between the two of them. The images are flashes. Sometimes it's like a script that you cannot read. They kind of run along from top to bottom, letter by letter, and make a strange like sound and buzz to it. But you see images, most of which you do not recognize nor can even parse. The ones that you do recognize, most notably, are the images of four-armed humanoids splayed out almost in like an anatomical pose, that being the Kasatha. And again, you'd see a picture of the tentacled creature that lairs inside the coralish rock. It as well has been kind of described out in an anatomical drawing, as well as other creatures, other things, but those ones you don't nearly make any sense of.
Should we take the one that works?
Yeah. Dannek is eyeing this door that Daeralei walked away from.
Not Zaari, still just looking for drawers.
As you're eyeing that door, I just call over my shoulder, Dannek, shouldn't we be looking at maybe this door with all the blood on it?
That is the first door that you want to look at?
My guess it's where that dead guy came from. Before we go opening the doors, like I said, maybe we should be checking them. Again, not trying to tell you how to do your job. I'm just not wanting to be exploded on or get bits and pieces of Daeralei all over me.
Dannek slowly saunters over. He's trying to avoid the blood splatter as much as he can, kind of stepping over
Tiptoe
it.
around it.
Yeah. He's gonna look at the door. Can he make an investigation or something?
Yeah, sure. Make me an investigation roll. In the meantime, Sara, you're having Zaari take that tablet on the desk, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You grab it and you have to give a kind of a firm tug to unplug it from one of the docks sitting in. And as soon as you do so, it dims and kind of dies and goes dormant as the flashing blue light immediately stops as you unplug it.
Okay.
Did you break it?
I don't think so. Can she kind of look at it to see if, I don't want to be meta, but if there's a way to turn it on.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It, like the previous one, has a bunch of buttons along its one side. You can kind of just the way that someone might drag their fingers across a piano if they don't know what they're doing. You just down the side of the buttons, and of course one of them ended up turning it back on as it kind of flickers with a black light and then a blue light, and then a little bar fills the bottom section of the screen, and then it illuminates back up with a blue light again. And then it starts to glitch out again, going back into static and and those images that keep cycling through.
Okay. I got it to work again.
Dannek, what is the result of your investigation roll? You are muted.
I'd like to reroll.
Ooh, all right. Use up a domain relic.
Because
And
I rolled
reroll.
1. Wow. A whole 2. That's a 6.
The door itself does not have any blood on it, despite the floor having blood on it. An interesting factoid
Yeah.
that is
Dannek's-
immediately obvious to anyone who looks at it.
Yeah, Dannek's looking. He's like, "It's a lot of blood." Can Dannek take a closer look, and he's going to try and check for any traps? Like he's going to actually touch the door.
Yeah, I'll say with that 6 investigation roll, like you don't notice anything, even after like touching it and stuff. It appears to be very similar, if not identical, to the other doors that you've walked through this place. Nothing about it stands out.
Well, it looks fine to me. Daeralei, did you want to open this one? That's like standing, taking a couple steps back.
I think she'll just toss you one of the brown discs. No, go ahead.
Dannek takes it and doesn't look too pleased about being the one to open it, but is going to walk forward and present the disc.
As you do so, looking at you very pointedly, just take a step back.
You swipe the card, as you've seen Daeralei do, and it works. And the door slides open to reveal a blood-filled hallway. Steps raise and curve up and around. There are bloodstains that mar the floor and walls of this hallway. There's scorch marks and smears of ash on the walls. There's you'd see like singe marks upon the walls, even on the floors, like scatters. Some kind of altercation took place here, absolutely. But you cannot see the extent of this hallway beyond what I've revealed as it bends up and around.
As Dannek and I are looking down this very bloody, gory display, I just turn and look back at him and go, "You could go check that other door if you want."
You don't like this? This is the...
Oh, I absolutely think we're going to need to go down this way. But if this is the way we need to go, like I said, I don't like leaving unexplored doors behind us if we can help it.
Yeah, Dannek is still just like, this whole time, just like kind of looking down the hallway at all of this blood. Can he hear anything?
You may make me a perception roll, please.
Please.
May I also do that?
Absolutely. Both of you can.
Not persuasion.
I rolled another 2. I'm not doing well.
14.
Yrsimagor, perhaps you notice it better than Dannek does, because you are more, let's say, emotionally trained to it. You hear beyond, around the corner, around the bend of the hallway, the echoes and distant sound of short-circuiting electricity. Bzz, bzz, sparks. It's subtle, it's quiet, but you can smell that electric fire, the crackling and sparking of electricity. The signs, or at least the sounds, of a dying robot or a dead one. Music to your ears.
I think hearing that, you would see Yrsimagor. You would actually see the muscles tighten up, tense up, as I re-grip the sword. It's like we were being a little joking there for a few moments, and I had relaxed, and all of a sudden I tense up. And I look at you, Dannek, and I say, stay here. And I'm going to very slowly, moving along the outside edge, I'm going to advance forward until I can see around that bend.
Oh, like Dannek is like, Yrsimagor, as he's like, Dannek is not going to go into this hallway, but is going to look back towards Daeralei and Zaari to try and get their attention of what Yrsimagor is doing.
Daeralei has been watching you guys, so as soon as Yrsimagor steps in, Daeralei is going to come stand by you, because, what?
I was gonna say, I think Zaari, once she finally finished, messing around with this tablet-y thing, basically when she hears Yrsimagor go, you stay here, I'm gonna go check this out, I think you hear her just kind of sigh, like, ugh. And she's gonna follow Yrsimagor, like, God damn it, why are we going into a fight right now?
Yrsimagor, you round the bend and you see 4 tangled mounds of metal that lie on the end of this hall. There's in these pools of this strange colored stains, not blood, but whatever robotic fluids that once pulsed through their strange hull. Each one of them is in a sorry state of disrepair and or complete destruction. They are mangled and covered in ash, blown to bits, and hacked apart, and etc. They are dead.
I want to make sure they are actually dead. With the knowledge I have of these things, I'm just, if a robot has any kind of sparking, to me that says that there's potentially still power in it. So I'm very leery of these, and I just want to make sure they're dead. If that means jabbing my sword through a robot equivalent of a heart or a brain, I will do so.
I imagine you do the equivalent of like decapitating the dying and the dead upon a battlefield.
I think
with this.
I think what Zaari
sharp sword.
What Zaari would see is, as I walk up to the first one, hesitantly, sword still drawn, for a moment, I'm looking down at this thing, head cocked to the side, and I crouch down, look closely at it, and then, without a word, I just stand back up, hesitate just for a beat, and then that's where you would see the sword just suddenly come down, decapitating, and I would move from scrap heap to scrap heap, severing the heads of these things methodically.
I think Zaari would leave you to whatever you need to do to make sure these things are dead. She would basically just like be there as support in case one of them kind of moves.
Finally, here at the end of this hall, there are 2 more doors, neither of which have any coloring to their panels, implying that a brown keycard would get past them. Both at the end of this hall here, one going forward, the other going right. You, one by one, sever and destroy and completely obliterate the remains of these constructs. They are lifeless, unsparking, rendered onto dust like they should be to begin with.
Once the last one is completed, I look at Zaari, and you can see this. It goes beyond just normal orc or barbarian anger. It's what you see is hatred. You see just unbridled hatred. And wordlessly, once the last one is done, I take a look at these two doors, but make no movement toward them. And I will turn and head back to the others.
I think in a show of solidarity, as Yrsimagor comes past Zaari, she will very gently just place a hand on his shoulder and kind of turn as he's moving, so that when he gets away from her, she gives him like a little bit of a wide berth. After noticing that, she doesn't say anything. She doesn't reprimand him or question him. It's almost like there's a little bit of an understanding there. That kind of hatred that she saw as she follows.
To Dannek and Daeralei, there are 2 more doors at the end of this hall. And 4 dead. I want to be clear before I keep saying robot. Is robot a common parlance in these, or
Nope.
we're calling them constructs?
So, to the average Galarian folk, mad wizards and strange artificers are able to create constructs, golems, etc. These things, they're unique in that anyone or known in magic would know that no magic, no arcane sigils, nothing like that animates their bodies. They are completely non-magical, and thus they are robots, and thus they are unique in that regard.
So robot would
they
be...
are unique to... Yeah.
Robot would be an uncommon word
Yes.
for the others to hear.
Local only to this region.
Okay.
I feel like people in this region probably would know the distinction between a robot and a construct if they were like adventuring folks. But to the layperson, they're the same, but to a person that's kind of encountered them before, I imagine there's enough of a distinction.
And I think if anybody was not from the region or hadn't heard that word, it may even just sound like an orcish word for some other kind of enemy. But I would say to Dannek and Daeralei, there were 4 robots. Whoever came before destroyed them. I made sure that the job was finished. We're going to have to be careful.
Well, it's good to see that someone has done a lot of our work for us.
But as I
maybe
said,
we should go back.
There are 2 more doors this way, plus the door you wanted to look at. Did you say go back?
He like gestures to the door that he was looking at.
Oh, okay.
In this
I just
room.
want to make sure you weren't like, we need to go all the way back to town.
Oh, let's go home. It's too many doors. Yeah.
I will... If Daeralei or Dannek move towards the door, I will continue to... I will stay close by. Yeah. I mean, that's basically my extra security protocol, I guess.
Daeralei is not moving towards the door, having been chastised about moving towards all the doors and opening them. They've decided that they're not opening any more doors.
Yeah, Dannek will go and look at the door and maybe try and decipher if there's anything weird about this one, maybe.
All right, investigation roll, please.
Are you pouting, Daeralei?
Yeah, as much as
12.
as a drow could definitely pout. They're pouting.
With no blood here to cause you squeamishness or at least aversion, you're able to get a closer sense of this door. You press your ear up to this door and you hear the sound of humming, the sound of almost like untapped energy, something whirring, something humming, something almost like waiting to move, like within the door itself, as if it has some kind of lifeblood to it. The panel to the right of the door is unmarked, suggesting that a brown access card will be sufficient to open it. But otherwise, you notice no blemishes, no signs of trap or malice to the make of this door.
This one feels a little bit more lively than the other one.
It's more that you've noticed the liveliness rather than it appears to be. It's more like you... Yeah.
Yeah. There's some humming by this one.
Like, or like, la-di-da, da-di-da.
The first one, I appreciate the sound effects.
When we've been opening these doors, have they been like whooshing like Star Trek doors kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Do you open up this door, Dannek?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
A small little hallway appears before you. This door reveals even more
I
doors.
was gonna say that suddenly the door reveals another door.
Ahead of you is a larger, kind of broader set doors, and to the right is a smaller, more narrow door with underneath it, crawling along the ground, is more of that red mold growing from underneath the door, similar to what's found in this room.
So the door on the south is the one that has the
Yes.
mold growing under it? Okay.
Oh, good. Now we have 4 doors. Let me correct that. 3 doors. In the same way that Dannek avoids the blood, Yrsimagor avoids the mold. The rust mold. I've seen what that shit can do.
Yrsimagor, do you want to make a nature check,
Sure.
seeing this mold?
Sure. Rate 15.
15 is sufficient. You know this to be russet mold. And now the notes of booze in the air make sense. For you know that russet mold can be cleared, destroyed, washed away through fairly strong alcohol, as well as being dissolved away by acid. You know that this is a very dangerous mold, that if it were to get into your body, would kill you quite quickly from the inside out. There's even fables, hearsay, stories that, well, the mold itself grows within you, and then when you die, it feeds upon your body and then walks upright as if it were a man.
I think I would relay that information exactly, you know, with that sort of bit of folklore along with it. And in the way that I was sort of jokingly referencing chests with teeth, there's a solemnity to the way that I'm saying this information about this mold to, if nothing else, let Dannek, who's closest to me, know that this is something to be taken seriously.
Yeah, Dannek takes like a reflexive step away from the mold.
Do you have any alcohol?
Ha! I would, if you allow it, I would think that Dannek would.
Yeah,
Like,
probably.
Pretty reasonable.
I
Dannek.
imagine it's probably what, like a flask?
Yeah, Dannek brings out like a flask that is way too accessible.
It's also probably like half empty. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, just like right out of his like a very like accessible pocket.
do you have any alcohol? Flask. Oh, you mean this alcohol?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna need more than that. And I would, if you're holding it up, I would take it from your hand, immediately open it, and dump it out on top of this russet mold at this door.
Dannek looks slightly upset.
Is that enough alcohol to treat like this one doorway?
Yeah, absolutely. You pour the alcohol, and it like folds in on itself and dissolves, like popcorn, not popcorn, like cotton candy in water, just
Ooh.
dissolves and washes
Nice.
away,
I like that.
and it is gone. Though it is a fairly liberal use of alcohol to dissolve and destroy the mold in this way, and I imagine after pouring out a bit, you realize you probably could only do that once more, as you kind of upend half the booze that's in Dannek's little canteen.
I will hand back, without even closing it, I'll just hand it back to Dannek. We're going to need more. Keep your eyes and nose peeled. We're back to 4 doors.
The blood splatter one might not be too bad. It sounds like someone did a lot of their work there. Probably Arsul did.
We could take a look on the other sides of the doors and see what's there. We know somebody's been that way. Like you said, they may have already done the work. We don't know if anybody's been this way. We do know there's probably going to be more mold this way. As I sort of gesture to the whole southern part of this room being covered in russet mold.
I think if Daeralei is at all hearing this conversation, especially Yrsimagor and Dannek talking about these doors and opening them, I think they're sitting there, got a smirk on their face, and they're kind of arms crossed, one leg out, not quite tapping the floor, but just kind of almost that posture, like, huh, it's all right for you guys to open doors. Is basically like the attitude that they've got.
The difference is we're opening doors after looking closely at them. Make sure that there's nothing amiss with the door. By all means, if you want to keep opening doors and chests without checking them, go ahead. We could probably fit your corpse in that bag that Dannek has.
Yeah, Daeralei is not actually saying anything to you, just watching, smirking, listening, letting you do your thing.
I have a quick question for the GM. So, would this mold be considered like causing a disease?
Yes.
Okay. Goliaths are immune to disease.
Ooh.
Are you really?
So yeah. So
That's cool.
knowing that, while she doesn't want to touch the mold, would she be safe to go through the door with the mold in it? I don't want to like meta and like mess
yes.
that
Yeah.
you have.
You would feel like you'd be completely fine with that.
I think she would give her sword to Yrsimagor as she kind of walks up and she looks at Dannek and puts her hand out. I need the card.
Yeah,
And
Dannek.
specifically, it's your paladinness that makes you immune to disease, not being a Goliath.
Oh yes, my paladininess.
Yeah, your divine health. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, Dannek would give Zaari the card.
I think she's very grumbly as she goes over. we're gonna.
Dannek is so pleased. He doesn't have to open a door.
Investigate this door first. I don't have great investigation, but I also don't want something to explode in my face. So let me see.
I'm going to do my usual backing you up, but I'm doing it from much further away.
You have my sword too, because she was just like, "Here, take this."
Is yours a longsword?
Yes, it's a moon touched longsword.
Like every video game character I ever play, Yrsimagor suddenly feels the power of holding two swords.
Yes, I got a 15 for my investigation.
So you would also notice like the traces of the mold washed away. You'd notice that there's nothing in peculiar about this door, beyond like that like subtle humming that you can feel and hear. If you like put your hand or ear up to the door, as if within the door itself is brimming with some kind of energy. Swipes
Yep.
the door.
She's gonna swipe the door.
It opens up, revealing a long hallway filled on either side. The floor is carpeted, all with this mold. And here, in its density, it's no longer that signature rust red, but instead a vibrant green. At the end of this hallway is a door that is ajar, revealing a large, wide room. Again, dominated at its center and all corners of it by the moldy growth that appears to be growing everywhere in this room. And dominating the center of this room is a massive, it's not the right size. There we go. A massive plant creature growing out of the mold in the ground itself, lashing these pseudopods about, having now detected your presence, your scent, your aura. And with that, we're going to call it the end of the session.
I would like
as we'll be
to.
beginning the next session with an initiative roll.
I would like to, just for flavor, reach over to Zaari, take the disc, and try to close the door. All
You
right.
just push her in. You just push
No,
her in.
I'm not going to do that. But this is like, you open that door, we see that, and it's just like, nope.
I know.
Close it.
Yeah,
Why is it
it's
not closing?
I was gonna be like, Zari's just gonna kind of look back and be like,
I kept waiting for you to say,
big ass
and
plant.
when you showed that, I'm like, and then dominating in the center, a massive. I'm like, is that a robot? Please tell me that's not a robot. Because if it's a robot, I have to go in there.
big
I'm
ass
gonna have to
plant
go
in
in there
there.
anyway.
Feed me, Seymour.
I think all of Daeralei thinks to herself when sees the looks on their faces when you open the door is like, yeah, investigation's going so well.
And specifically, when you open this door, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more doors. That this door has
great.
revealed.
Those are doors, aren't they?
They are doors.
Well, like I said in the Twitch chat, it's D&D. Doors and more doors.
Yep.
And this is starting to feel like Dawnbringers in the Heart of the Nightfang Spire.
I was gonna say,
That or the
although these
Sunless
doors-
Citadel had so many doors.
so many doors.
Oh man. All right. Do we know? So next week would be the 21st. So our next game would be on the 28th by our usual schedule, which would also mean that is going to be our last game of the year.
Ooh, Christmas special.
Because we take a break
Mhm.
during the month of December for MTD. So in 2 weeks on the 28th will be our final episode of the year before the holiday break. So all of a sudden we're going to show up for that session and this giant plant creature has like a Santa hat on and jingle bells.
It'll be a giant animated mistletoe.
You know, I
That's
joke,
beautiful.
but you did last year when we were doing Avernus, you did an amazing job of doing a Christmas special in Avernus.
Yes,
You did.
So-
Yeah, with Krampus. Yeah.
Krampus,
Yeah,
yes.
that was
With
a lot of
Krampus.
fun. That was a lot
That
of fun.
was horrifying. It was
So
It was scary. It was terrible, but it was great.
no, it was really cool. All right. Well,
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Tune in on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here for the season finale, episode 30 of Kids on Bikes, our Welcome to Paradise, Michigan Kids on Bikes game. It's going to be awesome. In the meantime, thank you to everybody who hung out with us tonight. Love seeing everybody in chat, and the people that supported the channel with subs and resubs and bits and all that. Thank you. And if you're somebody that likes to lurk quietly in the chat, or you're watching later with us on the VOD on YouTube, thank you, and we hope you enjoy our presentation here. And as always, a huge thank you to everybody around the virtual table here. Incredible thank you to our amazing Game Master Vi, and the players, Kaeryn, myself, Sara, and Em, without whom this would just be Vi talking to herself for a couple hours. So with that, we're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
Skymetal.